Hi, Elena. So this is going to be your portfolio review. Seeing as you left a comment on the YouTube and you sent me a portfolio, thanks very much for that. So today, as usual, we've got a guest, and the guest there is going to be Lewis Lupton, who is an environment artist at Cloud Imperium Games. So I will let Lewis give his little introduction before we start.
Hey, yeah. I'm an environment artist. Apparently, mainly do sci-fi stuff, but yeah, I've done some bits and pieces that other separate from that. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. But
Yeah,
environment artist free, which is apparently slightly more important than environment artist two. I don't really know the difference yet, but we'll see.
just rising in those power levels. Environment artist 100 after a while.
Yeah, I think I just get given more tasks. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, I do like that system though, where it's like one, two, three. So it's quite nice. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, as I say, with these portfolio reviews, they come and go. There's no consistent thing to them, just because getting a guest and it is a different guest or a reoccurring guest depending on the topic. It does take time. So that being said, I've got your portfolio loaded up, and as is the usual with these portfolios, we'll pick one piece each and we'll go into that, discuss it, and then we'll kind of look at the portfolio as a whole. Might hop into one or two other pieces, but we'll look at two pieces as the main sort of meat and potatoes of the video. So, as is usual fashion, I'm going to let the guest Lewis pick first, and I will click into your portfolio and we'll go from there.
that's too much pressure. Do you know what? No, I'll save the one that I talked about. Let's have a look at. Do you know what? Can I let you pick first? I know you want me to pick first, but I'm
Oh
just
damn! Look, he's flipped it
yeah.
up.
I know. I'm here to be a nightmare.
Okay, so I will go for. Well, you know what? Usually we take in the first page. Actually, we call it like react and analyze and
Okay.
conclude. So uh, when I look at the portfolio, as soon as it loads up, I think the first feeling I get is the Unreal logo on your thumbnails are different scales, different positions, and they're kind of white on bright, so they get a little distracting. So the thumbnails themselves look pretty solid. Um, you could like adjust the cropping on maybe the car one and stuff like that, like all the little things like that. But the main thing is, you want your thumbnails to read as like a nice front cover to what you're doing. So that's the first thing I noticed initially, is that they could be consistent a little more.
Yeah, I'd probably make sure that they're placed all. I usually go bottom left personally. I say this, I don't even know if I've still got them on mine, but I know the ones that I did have, I'd go bottom left.
I think I do as well,
Um,
for the most
but
part.
yeah, I'd reduce the size of them down by about 25% as well. Like just you know the people are there to look at your work, obviously, not the software that it's in. So um,
Yeah,
I don't like it's good to signal that okay, like this is a real time piece versus like not a real time piece. But yeah, that's just my little kind of my little thing there. I'd say the other thing with the like looking at it straight away, I'm assuming at the minute it's just in order of like, newest to oldest. Um,
hmm.
I'd potentially just move that the materials one just to the end, or just to like keep a consistent flow of like theme, if you will. Like there's a bunch of environments and then it's randomly broken up with some material balls, which is like it's fine, like it's good to have those on there. But yeah, just as like from like a recruitment standpoint or something like that, like what they'll probably be doing is they'll just want to see environment pieces first, and then anything else that you've worked on, so stuff like the material stuff, they'll look at afterwards as like, oh, this is kind of cool. So yeah, just as like a flow thing for recruiters and stuff like that, like try and do something like that.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Yeah, the banners are a bit hit and miss. So the banner, if you're going to use that banner, I would almost imagine dragging it down a little bit, because you're kind of cutting off the
Yeah,
statue's head. So either cut it down or don't have a banner. Either one will be fine in that case. But okay, so since Lewis is kindly letting me go first. I will pick. I'll go to the paper ship, and we'll have a look at that, and we'll see what's going on. So I believe this is a mix of mega scans, maybe some of your own modeling as well. YouTube video in the front. I don't know if this is like maybe you have to be ArtStation Plus or Pro, but I believe you can embed videos into ArtStation itself that will
Yeah,
autoplay. So it might be better to do that.
yeah, I believe so. It's yeah, yeah. I don't think you have to be plus on that. I've definitely added videos on before. I'm
I
not
think
sure. I'm not using.
I'm not Plus anymore. I've got them on there. Just saves you a click because it will autoplay when you have it at the front. So
Yeah,
small rain scene with lumen and path tracing, eventually composited in DaVinci Resolve. So I assume this will be a complete piece looking at it. So I think it's a cool piece. It's got nice. It's definitely more of a light. It's a bit of both really, but it does strike me more of a lighting piece just because it's a lighting or prop piece because it's so small and it's kind of locked
yeah,
into one shot as well. And it's using, I assume it's using Megascan's foliage, which it looks like as well. So it shows more of like your composition and your lighting ability. But I would also, it's a bit like it's the video and the screenshot and then it stops. So it's a bit, that was quite small, in terms of scrolling. So I would expect to see a few more shots of maybe like the render passes you did, or like if it is just one shot, you can add like your lighting only shot.
yeah.
If you did make the ship in the middle, maybe a breakdown of that, of how it's UV'd and the wireframe for it.
I'd like to see the materials for it actually, because like paper's a bit of a nightmare to do sometimes. So yeah,
yeah.
I'd kind of like it looks good. So yeah, I'd be interested to see a little bit of breakdown on that. That'd be kind of cool.
And what's interesting as well in the video, it is going from. It's got like two different states. It's got sunny and then sort of rainy and night. So if you're going to have those two states in, yeah, that definitely needs to go in as an image. So put your rainy image in there as well. Otherwise, not everyone's going to click on the video, especially if it isn't going to autoplay for ArtStation. So just always assume that no one's going to go through putting those in. So yeah, put the images in there. Put the relight images in there of both states. Breakdowns of anything you have made in here. How the scene looks like outside the camera. So how have you set dressed it? If you zoom out a little bit more. So anything that can help you break it down will be key in that regard. So but you're listing the software you've used, which is good, and you've got a basic description for it, which is good as well. So yeah, just expand the images a little bit on that one, and you'll be good.
Yeah, I'd definitely pull the camera back. I'd say like as an overall thing, like the actual dressing and stuff of it's really good. Like it's really strong. There's not too much clutter or anything like that. Yeah, it's all really nicely framed. But I'd
Yeah,
probably want a couple of extra screenshots.
for sure, for sure. So I'm going to come out of that one back to the main page, and
Yeah.
Lewis was the one that took your eye that you wanted to look at.
Yeah, for the sake of this being an environment art review and it being real time, we'll have a look at, is it the source, the church one?
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that, and we can kind of talk about some stuff with the other ones afterwards, I guess, if you want.
Absolutely, yeah, I think we should. So yeah, clicking on the church one, having a quick look at the video. Created while studying abandoned cathedral with a miraculous source. Unreal, Blender, ZBrush, Painter. So this one looks. I would assume this one is all handmade. Is that the Mega Scans isn't listed on there? So
Yeah, yeah.
cool. Yeah. So what are your thoughts, Lewis?
So, composition's really good. Yeah, like it's another one with if you're gonna kind of go the positives of it, the composition's really nicely done. For the main shot, there's this personal preference. I think like maybe a little bit too heavy with all the light shafts, and like it's maybe a little bit much. And also I think they come in from slightly different angles. if you look at the ones by the window versus the ones that are coming in through the roof, they look like they might be coming in at a slightly different angle, but that might just be the perspective of the FOV. Yeah, just something to watch out for, I guess. Yeah, I think it's a good piece. Like the material works really nice. I think some of the damage and the decals. So I'm guessing that this has been done with vertex painting. Just with where the damage is appearing, because it kind of looks. It looks like there's some repetitions of it, and it kind of looks a bit randomized in a few places. So I would suggest just thinking more about like how that damage has been caused. So like there's tons and tons and tons kind of peeling off towards the bottom. But then what you're missing is some of the context to it. So like all the debris on the floor, I can't see much like plaster on the floor where it's all come off the walls. And that would kind of really help add to it. I know you've got a lot of foliage on the ground and that's kind of covering stuff, but yeah, I think adding things like plaster and damage like that to the floor would help you quite a bit. But then it's also like it's all coming off in like these huge chunks. So it's not a case of like it's come off and it's like a little bit's come off and it's kind of like flaking. Like it's all come off, and I would maybe just try and balance that a bit more. So I'd probably done it with decals. And like I said, I think this is probably vertex painted the damage. And for this kind of thing, I think you're probably better off doing sort of decal work for it. That's my kind of the main thing is that with the damage, it just needs a bit of work.
Yeah, 100%. Having the story for everything, right? So if there's a hole in the ceiling, where did the rest of the stuff fall down that caused the hole? And as Lewis said, when the plaster's been whatever's caused the plaster to come off, why has it affected maybe the inside and not the outside, and where the bricks and the plaster left over from the floor. And I think as well with your foliage, you do have some of it dressing the edges of your environment, which is good, but you just have like a big section of it in the middle, so it would have been nice to kind of maybe have islands of that foliage more around the pillars, and maybe the middle is left a bit more open so it guides the player. Things like these are, again, it really depends on your reference. So one of the things I always say is to put your reference in there. And because you can't see the reference, it's hard to tell what it's meant to look like. So again, this is something structurally you need to add to your portfolio. But yeah, I just noticed the God rays as well. So you got the God rays coming in.
Yeah, it's the ones by the window versus the ones that are coming in through the
different
roof.
Angles.
Different angles. So it's like a little thing, and like obviously it's a small thing, but it just saves you having to kind of explain it to someone over and over again. Because people with more experience than me are going to pick up on that straight away. Yeah. Something else again. This kind of comes back to like your reference, and it's more. It's one of these things. Not everyone's going to notice it, but I get hammered on this stuff constantly, so it's kind of become like second nature to me. So things like I think it's like meant to be like water damage or something on a few of the walls, like on the reverse shot. It's kind of just like randomly placed around, and you would get kind of streaking and stuff, and you would get like a source for that. And for some of these, it's like it's not really you're not really getting the water damage in the areas where you would actually get them. In real life, it tends to be kind of more situated towards the corners and towards ledges, and it'd be coming downwards, not upwards. So like there's, hang on, let me just. It is the shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like images down. So it's like the reverse shot of the scene, like back towards the door. And yeah, there's just. You see what I mean? Like it just needs a bit of directionality to it, and a bit of like if that was just coming down from that like rounded window, fine. Like I wouldn't kind of pick up on it, but yeah, just little things like that. Like it will. It sounds really nitpicky, but it will massively elevate the quality of your work, because then when your director or something or someone who's looking at your portfolio comes to look at that, like, oh, okay, they're actually thinking about this stuff. And yeah, it just puts you in a really good position.
Yeah, it's the extra level, right? So it's like, are you just placing this stuff to break up the surface, or are you placing it in a logical way where it's like this has happened because of this, and the foliage has come in because of this and
Yeah,
this as well. So 100% agree what Lewis said. It's this stuff will kind of get it's the next step you need to think of really in terms of where you're taking stuff.
yeah. This is the thing. I'm obviously picking up on these things, but like the actual quality of the art, like the models and the materials, is really good. Like I'm not, most like it's just adding those like extra 10% things that will kind of really push it forward. That's the kind of the bonus.
Yeah, the space
Um,
itself does feel
yeah, it's a really nice
like a solid
environment.
base.
Yeah, I'd like to see more like you could potentially just do it with like some vertex painting inside of your software, just with some like faking the AO on a few of the pillars, just to kind of add a bit more shadow in the recesses, or like a bit more dirt and grime. It doesn't need to be much. It literally just needs to be like 10%. And what it'll do is it'll just give it that little bit of extra depth in a few places. So you see, like at the bottom of the pillars where they've got that little kind of cutout, it kind of like comes out, and then there's like a little tiny lip. Like
Yeah,
just under there, a little bit like darkening under there. It just gives it that little bit of extra kind of feel with detail, and then in the recesses. Yeah, like just small things like that. It'll just help it kind of really elevate the meshes and stuff. But otherwise, like I said, like the mesh quality is really good. The material quality is good. Um, yeah,
yeah, 100%. That sort of shadow detail and the
yeah,
AO and curvature. However you do that via masking or world space, it will help it as well. I just noticed it's pretty cool how you've got the rays or the light coming in through the stained green windows to be green. That's
yeah,
it's good to see that sort of thinking in terms of when you're lighting.
mm,
Lighting wise as well, I think changing the lighting would really push this piece. So um, everything's quite bright, and this is why the darker one, the blue one, has a bit more contrast in. So I'd be tempted to. So many ways you could take it, but I would maybe have half of it in shadow and kind of the way that you got the god rays coming in through the green window, kind of lifting and rotating that sort of directional light so it comes further into the room, and then you have more cast shadows on the floor because at the moment there's not too much going on with your shadows. It's very ambient in the grand scheme
yeah,
of things. So again, this would just go further to help what you've done.
yeah, yeah. It'd be
Cool.
kind of nice to see like that alcove behind the statue just being a lot darker and things like that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
things
now I
like
see
that.
that alcove. That's a good point. It's very yeah, it's quite bright considering it's
Yeah,
inside and the sun's occluded. So
yeah, yeah. It just needs bit more with the lights, I guess. But that's not. I suck at lighting, so
nah,
uh,
it's all good.
that's
Me
that's
too.
more your domain.
But
Yeah,
no, yeah, good stuff. For the structural stuff, I won't repeat it on every portfolio. It's the stuff I put in my portfolio video, construction images, reference, all that sort of stuff. So if you watch that video I put up about the 4 pillar rule, that'll serve you well.
mhm.
Um, so I want to quickly go through. I know we did 2 pieces, but I want to quickly just go through the car piece. And when I
Yeah,
say quickly, I mean pretty quickly. So again, this piece has way more construction shots. It's got videos, it's got texture flats, it's got widescreen shots of the materials. This does look like one of your stronger pieces. What do you think,
yeah,
Lewis?
yeah. It's really nice. Yeah, obviously the car's the main focus, so I don't want to kind of nitpick too much on the environment, but the environment itself is actually like quite nicely done. I would maybe try and break up some of the straight lines in it because it's a very like straight line around the road, and I don't know, put some little decals and stuff in there because you could, with what you've got as a basis, you could very easily turn this into an environment piece as well.
Mm,
And if that is the kind of, obviously it says in the portfolio they want to be an environment artist. If that's the road that they want to go down, obviously having a vehicle there, it's really good because it shows that you can kind of do that high fidelity kind of modeling, and it's like the car itself is really cool. I do like the car.
yeah, yeah, it's cool.
Um, I really want to annoy one of our old co-workers and say, name incorrect parts about the car, but that's a whole other thing. Yeah, the car itself is really cool, but and it's a good focal point. But yeah, I'd almost just spend like a couple of hours just doing up the environment side of it, and yeah, it'd kind of be a really strong piece.
Yeah,
It wouldn't take a huge amount of work either. I'd just say, kind of breaking up the repetition in the floor, and then uh, kind of just breaking up some of the straight lines with the houses. Bring a few a little bit further out so they're not perfectly flush with each other. Yeah, you got a really cool piece. But yeah, the overall piece is it's really good. Like just yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
there's anything else to add to it.
No, like it's really nice. It's the vehicle as well. Everything from the camera. So this was 2 months ago. So it's it.
Okay.
2 months ago, and then your church was last year. Okay, so yeah, you can tell the paper sort of origami thing and the vehicle versus the church. That again, it's love to see this on portfolio. It's a big quality jump. Like the way you're
Yeah.
rendering, your camera selection, your breakdown shots, everything has improved dramatically. So it's good to see like your overall eye developing. But yeah, a lot of those smaller things like break it up with vertex painting, break up the lines, and you could develop this even further and think more about the lighting in some of the shots as well. So in the orange sunset shots, you could easily have that light hitting the car from the directional light. Little things like these is the little 10%, 10 to 20% that will push it. But yeah, really do like this piece. It's much better. Just put your reference at the bottom of this one, and that will be perfecto, I'd say.
Yeah, the only thing I'd potentially change. So the first shot that they've got on the post, like, it's a really nice composition, but I don't know what's going on in the background. It looks like just a flat wall with like a bit of vine hanging off it.
Yeah,
Um, I realize that like it's a really minor thing. The car is the main focus, but I'm kind of just immediately drawn to that background thing. So what I'd potentially do is swap that from your first screenshot to either the one that's just below the kind of four split ones of like the side on view of the car next to the flowers, or the one below that, which is like the full street and then the car. Um, probably the side on view because that's got like just the car as the main focus. Or dress up that background to the same standard as the rest of the street. Um, yeah, it's again just if you're gonna go down the environment artist path, make sure that your environments are kind of fully fleshed.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a really minor thing, but yeah.
What I like about the side image, which I agree, I think this should be first, and maybe even your banner. What I like about this
Yes.
is you're already doing some of the stuff Lewis suggested. So in the last piece, Lewis said, when the plaster falls off, show that. In this one, you've got the flower petals from the vines hitting the floor from the ivy above it. So, you are starting to progress in this sort of storytelling aspect. You just got to push it further. So very good to see, Elena,
Yeah.
overall.
I'm gonna actually agree with you on that. That shot should be
Yeah,
the
it's a
banner
good
piece.
it's a good
That's
shot.
awesome shot. Really cool.
So some quick ones. The very last piece, the concept art of the house on the rocks. Just delete that. The
The
material
church one.
balls, yeah. The material balls look fine. No major issue with that. And then I knew this sky piece, which is more. It looks like concept art. I know Lewis, you had some notes on this one, but this was 2 years ago as well, so it's quite an older piece. So
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a really cool piece though. I think it's something it's good as something to have in your back pocket that you can do that kind of blender into Photoshop kind of painting stuff. A lot of concept artists, that's how they work now. So even if you don't go fully down the environment artist route, you've still got that kind of other option of potentially, looking at concept art roles. But yeah, this piece is really cool. Like, um, there's a bunch of fundamental stuff that it does really well that I know people who still struggle with it. So the kind of the way that it has a sense of scale, it's really good. Like you've got good kind of differentiation between your sizes of your objects and stuff, and you've even got the smaller stuff that kind of shows where the human elements would be. yeah, like it's a really really nicely done piece, and obviously it's more at my road with the sci-fi stuff, so it just kind of stood out to me. My only thing with it is it's just a shame it's not real time. Like I'd love to see, uh, even if it's not the whole thing, like just the top section in Unreal. That'd be kind of cool if you want an idea for a big project to do. But that's just me.
No, yeah, 100%. Like the thumbnails, black and white thumbnails, the color thumbnails. I would have showed you, especially these thumbnails where you've added the sort of gradients of the blue and the teal.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah,
pretty solid in terms of rounding out your skill set as an artist, not just a 3D artist, as an actual artist
yeah,
as well.
yeah. Those
Um,
bottom ones that are just like the satellite dishes
yeah,
with the cities, man, they're cool. They're really
they
cool.
are.
Like
Yeah,
yeah, another thing, I guess it's another kind of boaty string if you can design stuff yourself. Um, like not every job you're going to go into as an environment artist, you're going to need to design stuff. I've
mm,
had to kind of learn it, and it's hard. So if you can do that naturally, that is like it's such a powerful kind of asset for yourself.
yeah.
So yeah, just I guess credit for that. Um, yeah, it's a cool piece, but I'd definitely keep that one. Um, and yeah, I don't know, maybe do a sci-fi project next or something because
There it
it's
is.
it's
It's,
it's clear that you're pretty good at it. So yeah, I'd do a sci-fi project from the person
yeah,
who works on sci-fi stuff.
there we go.
Yeah,
So yeah, the very last one, I'd probably remove that, and then we said to shift the materials one step to the right. Was it so
yeah,
that those come
just
last,
mm,
and make your thumbnails consistent, and then do bear in mind that there's a big quality jump from the ship and the car from the church. Even though the church is still good, the church was done last year versus 2 months ago. So do keep in mind that will kind of judge it. But yeah, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll have you 5 pieces. Change the banner at the top, maybe to the side view of your car,
mhm.
and put your construction
The
shots
boat
in. What was
sorry.
that? So no, sorry. What
The
was that?
banner picture could potentially be the boat as well. One of the two. Just the
Oh
new one.
yeah, yeah, it could be actually. Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool.
yeah, you got
Um,
very nice, bright, colourful work as well, which is you can see that sort of artistic aspect of it coming
yeah, I
in.
think
So
that's really good. I think like just you see a lot of people kind of tend to go more towards kind of dark, gloomy a lot of the time when they're doing portfolio, and yeah, it's really nice to actually see someone just going for like bright colors and stuff. So not kind of shying away, which is cool. I like it.
yeah, solid overall. I think keep doing what you're doing. You got great potential, and it's gonna be good to see where you go with this. But hopefully that helps. And other than that, good luck for the future, and it'll be goodbye from me for now. Thanks very much, and again, thanks Lewis as well for hopping in on this.
Yeah, no problem.